24 fatalities and counting. This is the current statistic reflecting the aftermath of Los Angeles fire that is increasing by the minute. Officials have warned that after a weekend of relatively calm winds, the notorious dry Santa Ana winds would be picked up again from Saturday night until Wednesday, reaching speed of up to 60 miles per hour. We will be covering this story and other stories making international headlines. Good afternoon. This is the Ambassador with me, your Ambassador, Paul Madenge. To begin our bulletin, tragedy struck Los Angeles County last Tuesday when wildfires erupted, spreading rapidly across the region. Now, 6 days later, the fires have claimed at least 24 lives and destroyed over 12,000 structures. More than 100,000 people have been forced to evacuate as firefighters continue to battle these relentless flames. Abdi Hamid Ali has more.
Firefighters are racing against time to contain two major fires that is consuming Los Angeles, the Palisade Fire and the Eaton Fire, which together have scorched over 37,000 acres. Aerial and ground crews are working tirelessly to protect homes and communities as high wind threaten to spread the flames further. Whole neighborhoods have been turned to ashes, creating a landscape of despair for rich and poor alike. While some fires have been contained, officials warn that the danger is far from over, with Santa Ana winds expected to reach speeds of up to 113 kilometers per hour. State and federal officials are investigating the cause of the fires. The Los Angeles fires are fueled by a deadly combination of factors, including extreme weather conditions, dry vegetations, and high winds. The region has not received significant rain since April, leaving the landscape parched and vulnerable. The Santa Ana winds, known for their strength and dryness, have been a major contributor, fanning the flames and spreading embers up to 3 kilometers ahead of the fire lines. While the exact ignition sources of the fires remain under investigations, wildfires in the area are often sparked by human activities, such as arson or accidental fires, as well as natural causes like lightning. The combination of record-breaking drought, increasingly intense winds, and the rising temperatures has created a perfect storm for this destructive blaze. Climate change is also believed to be an underlying factor, making California's fire season longer and more severe. The state officials have pointed to the need for better forest management and mitigation strategies to reduce future risks. The fires have caused immense losses, but they have also sparked unprecedented responses. Help has poured in from across the country and beyond, with firefighters from 7 states, Canada, and Mexico joining the effort.
This is what friends do. This is what relationships are all about. Friends in need, being there for one another. We want to be there for the people of Mexico in times of need and disasters, and we're incredibly humbled and grateful that the President was willing to send the crew you see behind me. They'll be out on the lines within the next 24, 36 hours, and we're very, very grateful.
The economic impact is expected to reach as high as $150 billion. The economic impact is expected to reach as high as $150 billion, further underscoring the scale of this disaster. As Los Angeles County continues to grapple with this unfolding crisis, the resilience and courage of its communities shine through. In the face of immense adversity, first responders and volunteers have come together to save lives and support one another. While the road to recovery will be long, this tragedy reminds us of the strength found in unity and the unyielding human spirit. This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GBS News.
And now, Chad's ruling Patriotic Salvation Movement has won 2/3 of the seats in the National Assembly. According to provisional results from the December 29 legislative election, the results solidify the transition to constitutional rule. More than 3 years after Mahamat Idris Deby seized power following his father's death. Here is more on the same.
Chad's ruling Patriotic Salvation Movement has emerged victorious in the country's first legislative elections in over 10 years, securing a 2/3 majority in the National Assembly. The December 29 election which saw a voter turnout of 51.56%, comes amid a transition to constitutional rule after years of military-led governance. However, the polls were marred by opposition boycotts and allegations of misdeeds, raising questions about their credibility.
We don't know if people are discouraged because of past events. We don't know, but this time we hope that things will actually change.
Debbie's party, the Patriotic Salvation Movement, secured 124 of the 188 seats of the National Assembly. The participation rate was at 51.56%. The vote, which also included municipal and regional elections, was charged fast in more than a decade. But opposition leader Success Masra Transformators Party and several other boycotted the election, saying the vote was skewed and lacked transparency. The government has denied this. The election results strengthen the ruling party's hold on power, but leave questions about inclusivity and transparency in Chad democratic transition. Paris Kigo, GBS News.
Tensions run high and the ground shakes in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo as the Congolese army claims significant victory against the M23 rebel group. In a dramatic turn of events, the military says it has recaptured key towns in the embattled provinces of North and South Kivu, striking a blow to the rebel stronghold.
The defense forests of Eastern Congo have long been a battlefield, but this weekend, the tide turned. Congolese Army spokesperson Yolumale Njike Kaiko announced that the nation's armed forces have regained control of multiple territories from the M23 rebels, a group whose name echoes a fragile peace agreement shattered by years of unrest. Emerging from the shadows in 2012 and the reimagining of renewed forces in 2011, M23's relentless advance left a trail of chaos. But now, Congolese soldiers are pushing back, asserting control, and vowing to protect their homeland. Kaiko didn't mince words, stating, "We are respecting the ceasefire, but we are provoked by Rwandan army or when the right to react."
It's true that we are observing the ceasefire, but at least civilians should be assured that each time the Rwandan army fires on our positions or on our population or on displaced people, the armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo have the right to react.
His comments highlight the growing accusation against Rwanda, with the United Nations alleging that Rwandan forces are backing M23, a claim that Kigali vehemently denies. Meanwhile, Rwanda President Paul Kagame is calling for a dialogue, arguing the Congolese government to sit at the negotiation table with M23. But in Goma and beyond, the echoes of gunfire suggest diplomacy is easier said than done. The international community watches anxiously as hundreds of thousands of displaced civilians caught in the crossfire face a dire humanitarian crisis. With sovereignty at stake and lives on the line, the DRC government insists it will defend its people and its borders against external threats. Joy Korea, GBS News.
In a move that has garnered widespread attention, a petition has been signed by thousands of Kenyans urging the International Criminal Court, ICC, to investigate recent abductions in the country. This petition follows the shocking abduction of renowned Tanzanian human rights activist Maria Sehai, who was reportedly kidnapped by armed men in Nairobi but released just hours later. The incident has sparked calls for accountability and an investigation into potential state involvement. Let's take a listen.
A chilling development in Nairobi, Kenya has sparked international concern. Human rights defender Maria Sehai, a prominent Tanzanian activist, was kidnapped on the streets of Kenya's capital city on Sunday. Sehai, who has been an outspoken critic of the Tanzanian government on issues ranging from political freedom to women's rights, was reportedly abducted by 3 armed men. Her abduction has not only raised alarm within human rights circles, but has also intensified accusations against the Kenyan Intelligence Service. These accusations, which have been circulating since last year's widespread protests, suggest that the Kenyan government may be involved in abductions and forced disappearances, allegations that contradict the country's obligation under international law. Amnesty International and Shehai's own organization have condemned the abduction, highlighting the dangers faced by activists and human rights defenders across the region. Shehai, who has over 1.3 million followers on X, has been a fierce advocate for political change and freedoms in Tanzania.
Asanteni sana, niko salama, Mungu ni mwema. Na kesho nitachukua muda niwashukuru vizuri. Naomba niwashukuru watu wa Kenya, watu wa Tanzania, and all the international people. Specific shout out to the people who are the Man Nation, because today I have been saved. Thank you.
This incident has led to calls for an investigation by the International Criminal Court, with thousands of Kenyans signing a petition demanding that justice be served. Critics argue that Kenya, which has long been accused of facilitating forced extraditions of foreign nationals, may be complicit in violating international human rights standards. As the petition continues to gain traction, the world is watching to see whether the International Criminal Court will take action. Irene Juguna, GBS News.
And that international news brings us to our very first break. We will be right back with even more.
Today on the show, we're talking about navigating the long-distance relationship.
First of all, the world is now a global village thanks to technology and the internet.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about relationships, when you talk about love, when you talk about feelings, when you talk about emotions, all these things originate from the heart. I never saw in the Bible where someone was married and then the wife was living far away from them, and then there was something that they were building.
When it comes to relationships and probably communication, that distance is not a barrier.
Yeah.
But it is in communication, in effective communication. There is something that long-distance relationships lack, which is very essential for effective relationship building.
When you are cooking and the tap gets spoiled, do you try to repair it from that point, or you run to the main source and then you close it?
So through the four gospel books, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, John, we can know the heart of Jesus in depth.
그리고 우리가 느끼는 그 예수님을 성경을 통해 느낄 수 있어서 너무 감사합니다.
And the Jesus that we can feel him through the scriptures, and I'm very thankful about that. Jesus Christ came to this earth for our sins.
지셨고,
he carried our sins.
십자가에 못 박혀 죽어 죄의 형벌을 당하셨고,
and he was crucified and he received the punishment for sins.
무덤에 들어가셨다가,
and he was put into the tomb.
사흘 만에 부활하셨습니다.
and resurrected in 3 days.
이것이 우리가 말하는 복음입니다.
This is the gospel that we speak.
예수님께 우리 죄를 위해 죽으신 이야기.
About how Jesus died for our sins. The purpose of Jesus being crucified.
우리 죄를 담당하기 위하여 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으셨습니다.
He was crucified to pay for our sins.
예수 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으심으로 우리 죄가 분명히 씻어졌는데.
And through Jesus being crucified, clearly our sins have been washed clean.
참 안타깝게도 많은 사람은 여전히 죄인이라고 말합니다.
However, unfortunately, many people still say that they are sinners.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back. In a powerful exploration of cultural identity and spiritual heritage, Gregorio Almeida, a Brazilian filmmaker and educator, has journeyed to Benin to uncover the true essence of Vodun, often misrepresented in Brazil as mere witchcraft. Vodun holds deep spiritual and historical significance for millions, especially in West Africa and the African diaspora. Almeida visit, coinciding with the Vodun Days festival, offers a powerful opportunity to challenge stereotypes and highlight the true essence of Vodun, not only as a religious practice, but as a symbol of cultural identity and historical reparation. Let's take a listen.
Over the past few days, Gregorio Almeida's journey to Benin highlights the significance of Vodun, a religion deeply rooted in the country's cultural fabric and its global influence, particularly in Latin America and the Caribbean. The filmmaker and educator, originally from Brazil, set out to explore Vodun beyond the misconceptions prevalent in his homeland, where the faith is often misunderstood and seen through a lens of superstition and witchcraft. His visit comes at a time when Benin is celebrating Vodun Days, a festival that not only commemorates the religion's rich history, but also seeks to correct the historical injustices associated with the transatlantic trade. Through his conversations with Vodun practitioners, Almeida gains a deeper understanding of the faith's philosophy, which has been passed down through generations. In this context, Vodun is portrayed not only as a malevolent force, but also as an essential part of Benin's cultural identity. The Beninese government, in recognizing Vodun's importance, has organized Vodun Days to celebrate and showcase the region to both local and international audiences. By doing so, they aim to challenge harmful stereotypes, highlighting the region's spiritual significance and promote it as a tool for cultural preservation and economic development. The celebration aligns with efforts to foster a sense of identity and pride among Afro-descendants worldwide, but who were forcibly displaced during the slave trade. Guy Georges, the Secretary General of the Afro-Descendant Mass Tourism Program, emphasizes that these festivals are not just about honoring Vodun, but also about acknowledging and repairing the historical wrongs inflicted on the African ancestors of the diaspora. In this way, Benin is reimagining its heritage, turning Vodun into a symbol of cultural pride, resilience, and global connection, while simultaneously promoting it as a key element in the country's modern-day development. Triza Tiengo, GBS News.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has proposed a prisoner exchange involving two North Korean soldiers recently captured by Ukraine. In a statement, Zelensky expressed his readiness to return these soldiers to North Korea in exchange for Ukrainian prisoners for war, currently held by Russia. The captured North Korean soldiers were reportedly apprehended on January 9 during fighting in the Kursk region in Russia. South Korean National Intelligence Service confirmed their identity and injuries sustained during the conflict. Zelensky indicated that if North Korean leader Kim Jong-un could facilitate the exchange, Ukrainians would be willing to hand over the soldiers.
Тактична група номер 84, а також воїни-десантники взяли в полон 2 солдатів з Північної Кореї. Вони живі і вже доставлені в Київ в полон. Їх взяли на Курщині, і це було непросто. Інші військові. Служба безпеки України продовжує працювати з полоненими з Північної Кореї. Один виявив бажання залишитись в Україні, другий з них хоче повернутись в Корею. Якщо Кім Чен Ін взагалі пам'ятає про цих своїх громадян і може організувати обмін на наших воїнів, які утримуються в Росії, ми можемо передавати таких.
European foreign ministers are set to meet in Brussels in January 27 to discuss possible sanctions relief for Syria. This follows a conference in Riyadh where European and Middle Eastern diplomats meet with Syria. A new foreign minister to talk about the future of sanctions and governance in the war-torn country. Here is the report.
Arab and European leaders held a conference in Riyadh to discuss the future of Syria. The conference comes after 13 years of civil war in Syria and the recent change in government and the fall of Bashar al-Assad. The European leaders stated that any sanction relief will depend on Syria's new government's ability to be inclusive, not radical, and respect the rights of women and minorities. Saudi Arabia and other countries stressed the need for sanctions to be lifted to promote development in Syria. The European Union, led by Germany, is debating whether to ease sanctions on Syria while maintaining restrictions on individuals linked to the Assad regime. The outcome will depend on Syria's ability to promote reconciliation and accountability. The international community awaits the January meeting to decide the next steps. This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GBS News.
That's all for today at the Ambassador GBS Global. Meet me same place, same time at 1 p.m. I am your Ambassador Paul Madenge. Good afternoon.